All right, Arizona Governor Suzanne Martinez is addressing this river sludge spill that has now made it even worse than it was. We're told right now that the overall damage to the affected area has spun to more than 600 square miles. The EPA chief has just said that the river, though, is restoring itself, referring to the Hennis River, despite that this seems to be extending itself. But we were looking at all the EPA statements on this matter and what the EPA has officially said, and almost every one, while it does acknowledge the severity of the problem and that EPA contractors were responsible for this, always saying EPA contractors or contractors working for the EPA, it always adds that the EPA was responding to all the closed mines that pepper much of the southwest and western landscape, and that this was a problem it all but inherited. We have the Gold King mine owner in question here, Todd Hennis. Todd, what do you make of that the EPA, though taking responsibility for this, has said, you know, this is not really technically our doing. We're the cleanup guys who screwed up cleaning up. I think that's the gist of it.
Neil, this is a story of major regulatory failure over many, many years. It is a story of a rogue major mining company that refuses to live up to its 21st century responsibilities. We also have a far larger problem for the downstream water users than the Gold King issue.
Well, wouldn't it come back to you? I know the mine that you're referring to is this Kinross-owned mine, this Sunnyside mine, I believe a Canadian concern that was fast and loose with this stuff. You would argue this was really kind of their doing in the order of events. But do you think that the contractors who worked for the EPA to clean this up bear any responsibility here?
The site crew who I met with Wednesday on the site actually had no reason to know that this could happen.
How would they not know that? I mean, this is their job. This is what they do.
The site indications had no major water flow coming out. Again, Kinross Gold's neighboring mine, the Sunnyside mine, is filled with billions and billions of gallons of water. The mine has concrete plugs in it. If those plugs ever break, like the blowout at the Gold King, the downstream people will have months and months of flows like this. That's the real problem here, Neil.
All right, now you had told CNN the other, I understand, you told CNN the other day, I hope I have this right, I've been predicting for the last 14 years that the situation would continue getting worse and worse. This was before this spill last week. I foresaw a disaster, and that has been borne out. Who did you talk to at the EPA, and what did they say when you gave these constant entreaties, these warnings?
Since 2001, I have been pumping the drum to raise awareness on this problem and to get the state and EPA
what problem?
to act.
Well, I'm sorry, what problem? What were you seeing happening?
The neighboring mine had impounded all of this water like a rising bathtub. It reached the rim and flowed out the neighboring properties. The EPA in 2002 was asked to join my lawsuit against Sunnyside Gold Corporation. They not only refused, they threatened me.
All right, so when the Sunnyside people come back and say this is really like, you know, a vendetta you have against them, or what do you say?
The EPA, the state of Colorado, and Kinross Gold Corporation have to acknowledge that the bulkheading or closing of the Sunnyside mine is a failure. They need to drain down the Sunnyside mine, treat the water. These discharges will go away, and the downstream users won't be faced with another
well, bottom line,
catastrophe.
you're far smarter than I, Todd. I didn't understand that. But here's what I do understand, that this is a bad situation, not apparently getting better, and you fear we're going to see more of this, and there are a lot of these abandoned mines there. So methinks that we could have worse problems down the road, right?
We can definitely have worse problems down the road, Neil, but this Sunnyside mine is the largest danger in the whole state of Colorado.
Well, how many of these mines do they control?
They control probably about 1,000 acres. They're the adjoining properties that are all discharging water at this point. And we were made aware of a new mine that was tripling its flow in a new area next to the Sunnyside.
In other words, a precursor to the same type of thing that happened here, right?
Absolutely, yes.
And the EPA has already said it's going. Okay, the EPA has already said it's going to make good on this and pay all damaged parties. But you argue this is going to get pretty pricey, right?
Kinross Gold Corporation needs to step up to the plate and be proactive on this problem. Drain the Sunnyside mine, treat the water. It's that simple, Neil.
But we're beyond that stage now, right?
With the Gold King, yes.
Yeah.
To avoid a larger disaster in the future, Kinross Gold needs to step up to the plate.
All right, we'll watch it. So there are competing parties here. Just wanted to bring you up to date with Todd Hennis, the view of the Gold King mine owner in this particular case. But I do want to make there are hundreds of these abandoned mines, and some of them controlled by just a handful, half a handful of major players.